Hey there, good people. How you doing? NWA here. It is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2016, the day after the Belgian attacks, the Brussels attacks, which have left, last count, I think it's 34 dead, hundreds wounded, and this does indeed appear to be a real incident. The very least, the airport, by my conclusions, could not have possibly been staged. And one thing I like to say is that false flags are a reality of the New World Order. In fact, it's one of their go-to items that they'll bring out in order to push us where they want to push us, sort of thing. And false flags are far more devious and treacherous than, say, hoaxes are. Hoaxes are just little plays, skits that they'll do in order to convince you that this shit's going on. But false flags are real. Bombs do go off, people do die, and it's very important for us to be cautious when reporting on these events. To take our time, of course. Any proper investigation does take time. And I've learned over the years that you have to be a lot more accountable, especially if you're putting out disinformation. So I just want to talk about this. It's off the Independent here. Brussels attacks. Video purporting to show Zaventem airport explosion was shot in 2011. We've seen this many times, where corporate media outlets will take old footage and put it to a current event. This has happened so many times I can't even count. Sandy Hook is a good example, of course, where they are constantly digging up the footage of the cops running up the stairs to St. Rose of Lima. They're still using that footage all the time. Yeah, and during the Transasia, I remember the women in the black and white, the Asian woman was crying her eyes out. And that was from a previous crash that they had taken that footage from. And so, of course, the disinfo agents here on YouTube ran wild with that, saying that proves that they brought out the same lady dressed in the same shirt to do the same exact act twice, which wasn't the case. It was just CNN, and even CNN admitted it on their video that it was from a previous plane crash. This is what grief looks like. Now, here's another example here. So the Independent, many others have posted this. What has happened here is that the footage that has been posted here on certain media outlets was actually bomb footage from a closed caption TV in Moscow, the bombs that went off in the Domodedova airport in Russia. So we'll just watch this. I don't think there's any sound. And the way to confirm is the guy standing here next to the two illuminated panels. It is the same footage, it appears, and just from different angles, essentially. Why does the corporate media do this? Well, they're trying to get money, essentially. It's pretty nasty that they do this, and they've done it many, many times before, especially with bombings, it seems. But that doesn't, of course, that has nothing to do with this event being staged or being a hoax. This is just the corporate media trying to get views, essentially. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. It's pretty nasty that they do that kind of shit. But I have really analyzed this, the airport footage. We have nothing from the metro. All we've got is a bunch of people, some cadavers that are being rolled out, some smoke billowing out of the metro, and a lot of bloody people being tended to on the sidewalks, and armed police, all around. But the airport itself, there's a shitload of video, and it would be absolutely impossible to stage. This is a real bombing, essentially. That's what's important to understand, is that the New World Order, this is what they claim to be the Belgian metro. And it could be, of course, or it could be the Moscow one, or it could be a lot of different things, but we haven't got all the information from that. But because there's so many, I imagine there'll be videos coming forth as people probably would have used their cell cam to capture it. But you see the damage, the extensive damage at the airport itself. It's impossible. There's no way they could have staged that in the early morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, peak time for airports. There's no way. So what the conclusion is that real bombs went off. Does that mean they won't use crisis actors? Hell no. I think they do use crisis actors to sell these events, especially when you think about it this way. If this is the New World Order that carried out this plot and killed a lot of, European citizens, Belgian citizens, or even tourists, and they've done this for maximum effect, look pretty real tears there, they might very well put crisis actors to play the role of victims and to push the narrative that they want to push, essentially. And that's what we have to be on guard for. Proper investigation always takes a lot of time, and it should. It should be something that you invest a lot of time in and that you don't jump to conclusions. It's going to get you a lot more views, of course, if you scream hoax every time something happens, especially when you don't have any real evidence to back up your claims. But that's not the proper way to do it at all. And as I said, you just see all the video supports that it would be impossible for them to set this up in the middle of the morning when peak times are happening. This is a real bomb that's gone off, at least in the airport. Does that mean the metro bomb is real? And what is most important anyways? All right? Like, what is more important? Proving that something is a hoax, or proving that these events are dangerous false flags that are being used to, engineer society in a certain direction, right? To control us, essentially. If it's a hoax, of course, I'm there, and I'll be the first one to break it down and try to show it to you. But what I've seen here is a real event. So, and when it's a real event, it's a real false flag. That's much, 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 much worse. It's much worse because real people die. And the agents that they put into the truth movement to take over the narrative of truthing, or whatever you want to say, are gonna cry hoax every time anything happens, and they'll find whatever they're looking for to support their narrative, because all you got to do is look, right? If you're looking for anything odd, you'll find it, right? And there's always oddities in every event, but that doesn't make it so. What we have here are real bombs that have gone off, and real people, real victims, and this is a terrible thing. So we should be very careful, of course, and that's what I am. I'm going to keep looking into this and see what I can dig out. But for the meantime, just because the corporate media decides to run an old video, right, that they dug up from a different bombing in Moscow, that doesn't prove that it's fake at all. That's just the corporate media being the reprehensible sources of information that they are, and the fact that they're always so concerned with making money, bringing in viewers, and that they'll recycle footage. You can just imagine the editor saying, no, run that footage, it'll get us a lot more views. Everybody's looking for the story. So there you go. I just thought I should tackle it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave them below, and have a wonderful day.